Welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to talk about if you should get a prenup before you get married. And the quick financial answer would be yes. If you're just looking at it through a financial advice kind of point of view, it would definitely make sense to protect your assets in a marriage. However, there are a lot of other factors to consider, and for example, when I get married, I will not have a prenup. The main reason why I disagree with prenups, for the most part, there's a few exceptions that I'll cover at the end of the video, but the main reason why I disagree with a prenup is like when you get married, you're kind of like becoming one. And if you say, hey, that money is mine, it's not yours, then you're not really becoming one. And I know every relationship's different, so let's say if your relationship is so that the husband and the wife or whatever both want to keep their assets separate, I guess that's fine for you, but it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, you're combining everything else that you do, but not your money. And I know everyone's like, oh, it's my money, I want to protect it, but I think it is endangering the relationship, and I would put the relationship over money. Now, for example, if you have a prenup, would you have separate bank accounts? Because if you're keeping some money separate, would you keep all of your money separate? And then let's say you have separate bank accounts. Who decides who pays for what? Like, does the person who makes more money pay more money? Is it split 50-50? If one person makes $100,000 and the other person makes $50,000, does the person who makes $100,000 pay 2/3? Or what if it changes? I don't know. It just sounds really complicated, and I personally think for the most part it would be smarter to just combine all your assets. Then you can take on everything that comes to you. You can take it on as a team, as like a one unit type thing, instead of two individuals. And let's say if your spouse like gets a lot of debt or something, or spends or buys something expensive and needs some of your money to pay it off, then are you gonna like loan them money? I don't know. It just doesn't sound like a good idea to me. And I understand the point, protect your money, but it doesn't sit well with me. I don't think it's a good idea, at least for me. I don't think it's a good idea for me. But I would see 3 potential exceptions. None of them, however, fit to me. So the first one is if you have a lot of money. If you have hundreds of thousands of dollars and then your spouse doesn't have anything, I guess I could understand that. If you have, like a life-changing amount of money, I can understand that. So the first reason why I could see you getting a prenup is if you have a lot of money. The second reason I could see is if you have like a business that you've built for years. I could understand someone wanting to include that as part of the prenup as separate, because I could understand how that would be so important to somebody if they spent, like the past 6 years building this business. I could reasonably understand them trying to protect that. For those people, their business might as well be like one of their kids or something like that. And then the third reason why I could see getting a prenup for is if you have a inheritance. So the reason why it's different to me is if I got a prenup like with the money that I have earned or the money that I make, that's a decision I'm making with my money. But in inheritance, I see it as it's essentially someone else's money who they've just given to me. So, as a good steward of that money, you should do what that person would want you to do with it. So if that person who gave you the inheritance would want you to keep the money separate, I think you should listen to what their wishes were and do so. And you don't actually need a prenup to keep inheritance separate, but there are several technicalities, such as like essentially just don't use the money from that for anything, or it can all be lumped in as group assets. But if you leave the inheritance money alone, it will stay as your individual asset, and you don't need a prenup for that to happen. So in review, as a financial advisor, I would definitely say yes, get a prenup. But for me personally, I do not plan on getting a prenup because, one, I don't have that much money, and the money I make going forward I see as a joint asset in between a marriage. So I think it would be better for the health of the marriage and just a better decision to just not get a prenup unless you fit into one of these three reasons, which is one, if you have a lot of money, like hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. Two, if you have a business that you really, really care about and you've been working on for years. Or three, if you got money in inheritance. So now it's time for everybody's favorite segment, the joke of the day. Joke of the day. Ba 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 ba. Joke of the day. Ba 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 ba. When my wife and I argue, I always get the last word. They're usually, "I'm sorry, you're right." So thanks for watching my video. Subscribe for more content. Leave a like if you like the video, and leave a comment if you have a comment on the video or any ideas for future videos.